Using a 1.5mm Allen key, loosely thread 2 grub screws into the feeder gear. Slide the feeder gear onto the shaft of the feeder motor with its teeth furthest from the motor. Tighten 1 grub screw against the flat surface of the spindle. Then tighten the second grub screw. Align the printhead holder with the side of the printhead mounting plate, orientated as shown. Fix from beneath with 2 5.5mm bolts. Fit the printhead mounting plate over the top of the feeder motor, orientated as shown. Fix with 1 5.5mm bolt. Position the feeder bearing over the screw hole in the feeder bearing block. Fix with an 8.5mm collar-headed bolt. Check that the feeder bearing is free to rotate. Fit the axle socket into the feeder bearing block. Align the feeder bearing block with the edge of the printhead mounting plate, orientated as shown. Fit a 15.5mm bolt through the axle socket. Tighten the bolt into the printhead mounting plate. Fit the spring onto the pin of the retaining plug. Fit the other end of the spring onto the pin on the inside of the printhead holder. Drive an 18mm bolt through the feeder bearing block and into the recess in the top of the spring retaining plug. As you tighten the bolt fully, the spring will be tensioned. Check the assembly by squeezing the block towards the printhead mounting plate. The feeder bearing will be pivoted against the teeth of the feeder motor gear. Thread the locking nut onto the print supply pipe. Using a 1.5mm Allen key, loosely thread 4 grub screws into the print header heater block. These will be used to secure the heater and heat sensor later. Thread the supply pipe into the print head holder. Continue until the end of the supply pipe just touches the feeder bearing. Then unscrew the pipe by 1/4 to 1/2 turn. There should now be a small gap between the supply pipe and the bearing, and the larger hole for the heater should be at the top. Using a small spanner or pliers, tighten the locking nut against the print head mounting plate. Align the fan over the heatsink. Align the heatsink over the print heat assembly, orientated as shown. Fit with two 38mm bolts through the fan casing and the heatsink and into the print head mounting plate. Tighten the two bolts. Fit the connector board holder to the side of the motor. Fix with two 5.5mm bolts. Tighten the bolts. Fit the connector board to the holder with the LED projecting towards the print head nozzle. Fix with two 6mm self-tapping screws. Plug the red and black fan wires into socket J3 on the connector board. Plug the red, blue, green and black feeder motor wires into socket J4. Slide the heat sensor into the small tube in the print head heater block. Tighten the two grub screws to secure the heat sensor. The end of the sensor should be flush with the edge of the block. Plug the heat sensor into socket J1 on the connector board. Slide the heater into the large tube in the print head heater block. Tighten the 2 grub screws to secure the heater. The end of the heater should be flush with the edge of the block. Plug the heater into socket J2 on the connector board. Fit the printhead holder to the printhead bracket at the top of the main frame, aligning the 2 bolt sockets and 1 pin. Fit a spring washer onto each of the 8mm bolts. Fit the 2 bolts up through the printhead bracket and into the printhead holder. Tighten with a 2.5mm Allen key. The printhead and feeder should now be mounted securely to the main frame with the nozzle downwards. Plug the 16-wire ribbon cable into socket J5 on the connector board. Fit the heater cover over the printhead, ensuring that it engages with the posts on the connector board holder. Fix with a 5.5mm bolt. Fit 1 filament drum side to the drum core. Twist to lock it. Then fit the second drum side to the drum core. Fix with 3 self-tapping screws through one side. And with 3 screws through the other side. Unscrew one side of the filament drum and twist it off. Lay the red filament coil over the drum core. Refit the drum side. Feed one free end of the red filament through the two holes in the outer rim of one side of the drum to anchor it. Using side cutters or large scissors, cut the cable tie. Place the drum onto the roller holder. It doesn't matter which way the filament feeds off the drum. The white filament can be fitted onto the drum in the same way. Stage 9 is now complete.